financial health of municipalities is in decline, with 28% of all municipalities at risk of no longer being... It's unthinkable, really, what's going on here. The financial state of municipalities is not just a problem, but a going concern. That's what the AG has just told the media briefing. Let's link up with our business reporter, Kopano Gumbi, who is in Pretoria right now. And my understanding, Kopano, is that you are joined by the AG herself. Well, let me not take your time any longer. Get straight into it. What is to be done with our municipalities to turn them around?
Thanks, Oli. Indeed, I am with the Auditor-General now, and we are going to be looking into some of the very worrying trends that have come out of their latest audits of our municipalities. 257 municipalities that are responsible for most of the goods and services that we need as South Africans: water, electricity, provision of housing in some aspects, as well as just maintaining roads and our general municipalities. I'm going to turn to the AG now. In fact, AG, thank you so much for your time. The financial health, let's start there. The financial health, the trend looks like it's in decline. Would that be a fair assessment of what's going on in our municipalities?
Good morning. Yes, indeed. Financial health of municipalities has gone backwards over the last 5 years. And one can see it in terms of the number of municipalities that are unable to meet their obligations to creditors. Because what happens is they will go and approve unfunded budgets, meaning that they overestimate what revenue they're able to get out of the users of their services. And then when that revenue doesn't come, they would have spent their equitable share on other matters, and then they're unable to meet their obligations to key creditors. So we have seen a deterioration in financial health. And much of it we would lay, yes, at the door of the state of the economy, but predominantly at the door of those that are responsible for managing finances. Because if you do not manage the finances you do have in a prudent way, you have little chance of making sure that you can make the ends meet.
If we look at the various subcategories, the metros, the local municipalities, the district ones, there is a deterioration across the board. If we start at the metros, is one of our 8 metros that got an unqualified audit?
Yes, one of the metros got a clean audit, which is the city of Ekurhuleni. A few metros have unqualified audits with findings, and the 2 metros in the Eastern Cape both have qualified audit opinions, meaning that they are unable to even publish financial statements that are characterized by credibility.
And this is a growing trend that has come out of your report, correct? That many of these municipalities at first audit are unable to provide quality financials for how they're running their municipalities. If we take it away from the management and look at what it does to the people who are responsible, who live in those municipalities, how do we categorize this wasteful spend or this financial mismanagement?
Financial mismanagement takes a number of different forms. At the basic level, if a municipality is unable to manage its cash flows and unable to meet its obligations to creditors, it then incurs penalties and interest, which really could have been avoided with better care. And what then happens is the resources that were available are no longer available. The other thing that happens is that the ability to generate financing by borrowing from other players becomes diminished, because if you can't have a track record of managing your finances, no creditor is going to be able to loan financing to you. And now your ability to maintain or build new infrastructure so that you can respond to the growing needs of your community, that ability is diminished. And that has a direct impact on the experiences of citizens who have to contend with infrastructure that's not maintained, or have to contend with infrastructure that's not growing in tandem with the needs of a growing population.
Let's talk about some of the disclaimers as well. Some of the municipalities that have disclaimed audits, what does that look like and what does that mean for ordinary citizens?
Last year when we talked about disclaimer audit opinions, we were quite clear that all of us have to understand that a disclaimer of audit opinion is completely intolerable. Because here you have people appointed and elected to act as stewards over public funds, and then just ignoring that moral obligation. They're ignoring even the provisions of law to maintain proper financial records. And then what happens? You end up with information that no one can rely on. You then don't have any transparency about what's happened to public funds. This year we did something slightly different. We said there are all these repeat disclaimers. So this year we have 25 disclaimers in total that we finished the audits for. But if you look at it, a number of them have been repeat disclaimers for many years. So they're not moving out of the space. So we said, what can we tell the public about what's happened to the funds that were allocated to these municipalities? So we did something we've never done before. We actually went and looked through their bank accounts. And in 4 out of the 10, we're able to tell you where the money went. We can see they paid salaries. We can see they paid SARS for VAT and PAYE. We can see they paid for bulk purchases to Eskom and to the water boards. We can also see that they made some payments to suppliers. So the question now is, who are these suppliers and why are they being paid and what for? At least we can focus on that. The other 6 municipalities of the 10, we are none the wiser as to what they've done with public funds. We're unable to tell you whom they've paid, nor can we tell you why, because their bank statements don't even have unique identifiers. That's basically somebody who's making payments out of the bank account of a municipality and is not even attending to the basic of documenting whom they're paying or for what. Therefore, there's no accountability, neither is there any assurance that that money is not being paid for corrupt practices, neither do we not know if there's been fraud in terms of the people that were being paid. And that's a problem because it means money is leaving the system that nobody is accounting for. What we've done is we referred these bank accounts to the FIC for them to take the matter forward, given their mandate as legislated in law. The responsibility for looking after public funds must, in the first instance, reside with those that are appointed to run municipalities. The municipal manager, as accounting officer, must make sure that there are proper controls over bank accounts. The senior managers, including the CFO, must make sure that payments are not being made when they shouldn't. And then you've got internal audit and audit committees. Where are they when this happens? Then you've got the mayor who's supposed to hold the accounting officer accountable. Where are they when this persists year after year? Where's council? Where's the speaker? And then if you look on the other side of it, you've got the provincial leadership that's got monitoring responsibilities to support and drive capacity building and to exercise proper oversight. Where are they when you've got these repeat disclaimers year on year?
AG, every province, according to your report, has a few municipalities that have performed poorly in the last reporting period. Which of the ones performed the worst? Which province performed worst? Which municipalities? How do we categorize this?
So if you look at our report, we tell the story about each and every province. I would highlight Free State and the Northwest, for they have no clean audits, not even one. And that's been the case for a number of years. They're the ones where they've got the highest number of disclaimers and or the highest number of municipalities that either don't submit financials or submit them late. For us, that's an indication of the tolerance for non-compliance with the law, but also a lack of interest in doing the very basic thing of at least submitting financial statements for audit. So if you look at the story about accountability, about transparency, around integrity of how those municipalities operate, we would look to those 2 provinces in particular to see the very worst of the story. On the other hand, of the 41 clean audits in total, 22 reside in the Western Cape. And I think that's very telling about what's happening in different parts of the country as well. So whilst we look at the consolidated picture, there are some hotspots that need different type of intervention.
Absolutely. Auditor-General Tsakani Maluleke, thank you so much for your time. There you have it, Polly. You heard for yourself. 41 of 250 municipalities only receiving clean audits. The Free State and the Northwest having not a single municipality that has a clean audit. A worrying picture that's being painted here.
Kopano Gumbi, thank you very much for that update. Well, there you have it, South Africa. Those are your 2 worst performing provinces, the Free State and the Northwest. What's the wording by the Auditor General? The highest number of disclaimers, that's the worst audit outcome, including not complying with the Municipal Finance Management Act.